Good morning, coffee lovers. It's Friday again, thankfully. It's umbraCoffee episode 176, and today I am joined by Ryan and Poornima. Hey.
Hello.
It's great to have you here. Ryan, you're maybe not as well known in the community. You were just saying you've been working in many agencies for quite a while, but you're certainly not. You certainly haven't been visible up until recently. It's great to have you.
Yeah. I've decided to kind of poke my head out and kind of dabble with a few things.
You won't regret it. Everyone has to do that at some point, and it can get you very far. Poornima, you're incredibly active in the community now. Of course, you do a lot. Don't underestimate yourself. When was we last had you on, and we discussed the GitHub year in review thing, and it was the graph of your activity in 2020, and it was miles ahead of anyone else's we could compare to. So do not underestimate yourself doing work.
No, I've been quiet.
No, you haven't, and we'll discover that
I've been quiet.
Anyway, cool. Thanks for joining. There's a reason we've got you both here, of course. Poornima, you haven't been quiet. You've been up to a lot. And Ryan, this week it was announced that you are part of the new back office community team. We've spoken about this a few times on umbraCoffee. We've had Mads on recently as well, and they announced that they were opening submissions for it. But the team's been unveiled, and it's a killer. So Jack has joined the back office team. Matt Brailsford, the one and only, Sian, Ryan, and Søren. So that's really, really awesome. Of course, being headed up by Mads. So I don't know much about this initiative. Maybe Ryan, you could share something.
From my perspective, well, I mean, I've just kind of jumped in to the back office team purely just because what's the easiest way to put it? I did quite a few things for various agencies, and I think it's probably about time to kind of bring it all into core and let everyone have a bit of everything.
Yeah, that's nice. So you've got some custom back office extensions that you've done, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, most of them kind of haven't made it to release. I start them and stop them and stuff like that. So, there's stuff everywhere.
Nice, but it's something you've been playing with for a while, and I guess just.
Oh yeah. I mean, as soon as my first job, it already included back office stuff, and I think it was early versions of 7. And then I sort of went back on because, legacy clients and stuff like that. So even extending Umbraco 6 in maybe the late 2000s is, yeah. So there is a bit of everything.
Cool. Would you say you're more of a back-end dev or a front-end dev, JavaScript person? Or what do you?
More back-end. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I do like it.
That's interesting because I think Ken's obviously a fantastic developer. A great all-round dev. He does everything. But he said, they've made loads of bespoke experiences for their clients in the back office, and he wants to do more for the core. Matt, we all know, creating some really amazing stuff. Sian, an experienced front-end developer, and she's leading the front-end team at Spin Dogs, of course, yourself, and then Søren, who's again a great dev. Interestingly, I saw on his Slack profile earlier, he describes himself as a front-end dev too. So I think it's a good mix on the team, actually, of people who are back-end devs, front-end devs, JavaScript nuts. Like I know Matt's a big fan of Vue and things like that. So it's great to see that team coming together. Do you know what the kind of things you'll be focusing on are?
Not really. I'm kind of hoping that we can kind of get into the nitty-gritty, baseline of it, and then obviously build all the way up, which would be really great because obviously everyone's different experience. We can expose different kind of features and stuff to developers and stuff like that, which would be awesome.
And with Poornima here, I'm going to ask the cheeky question because I know, Poornima, you're a big Blazor fan. Ryan, what's your thoughts on Blazor? Could we ever see it in the Umbraco Backoffice?
Hey, anything's possible. Anything's possible.
I know I've expressed my view on this before, which I don't want to go anywhere near Blazor, but that's just me. Nice, cool. Well, it'd be really exciting to see what happens then with this community team. Some other news this
I
week.
think it's
Oh, go on.
it's important that team needs to be a mix as well, not
Yeah.
just front end or back end. It needs to be a mix for that balance to come out very well. And I think it is a great team that's been put together, and we are hoping a lot of nice things.
I think so too. Well, let's wait and see. Some exciting things coming out of HQ this week in the 8.14 release candidate. Now we've been getting release candidates so often that they're not so exciting anymore. Like a new release comes along, oh, okay, that's cool, that's good. This one really excites me. The reason being, we have a new media picker, and my goodness, is it beautiful. I'll just refresh the page and load it up. So Umbraco Media Picker. They've overhauled the media picker so that it's far more interactive, far more Umbraco 8ified. You can drag reorder things in this picker. You can, I guess it kind of works like most of the other ones. The big important thing is, if I can zoom out a bit, the image cropper is now kind of center stage if you're dealing with an image. So in this case, it's full screen. The experience is far better. I don't know how this would look when you've got 25 crops like some of my sites have, but looks great. And the other thing that's been introduced here that isn't highlighted in this blog post, but really should be, is Core now ships with a bunch of new media types, including audio, vector graphic, a few others I can't quite remember. And I think as part of this, the experience of working with the media picker is going to be a bit more tailored based on the types of files you're working with, where before it would just open media and you'd be able to edit it. Now it's kind of editable in line. The one question I've got, so how are you both managing things like alt text on images? Because I've seen people before put properties on the media item, and now it seems there's no way for you to go from the media picker to edit a media item and then edit alt text. So I don't know, how do you handle that?
Well, from the newest update, I think it could be a little bit of a tricky one, because you don't really want to go through the long-winded process of having to go to the media directly from your media library rather than kind of like the CMS part of it. Well, the front it does seem a bit tricky, that actually.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe this could be a context app or something where we can switch between, or maybe there's a very purposeful reason why it's been done this way. I don't know, or maybe I'm missing something completely and this has been considered. Maybe if anyone, oh, sorry, there is at the bottom, if I just reshare, there is at the bottom a little thing that says
Edit alt text.
Open in media library. This is going to make me watch the video again, isn't it? But I think if we just skip through, you can go, see at the bottom just there, open in media.
Open in media library, yeah.
But then that disappeared at some point. Maybe it's just hidden below the screen. Anyway, cool. So maybe it is possible. Nice one. But yeah, it looks like a much improved experience. So I'm really happy to see that in Core. And speaking of much improved experiences, I was really happy to see this little improvement. And when I just showed it on screen a moment ago, Ryan, you went, oh, that's great, which is single item mode for the block list editor. Very little detail in the blog post, but I've pulled up the GitHub issue, which I think exemplifies the problem nicely. Yeah. And this is when you're adding items to the block list currently, you have to click add content. The dialog pops up. You can then choose the type of content you want, even if there's only one, and then it disappears and you can add it. And it's just painful. In nested content, it was lovely to be able to just go add, and keep doing it. And now it is possible, thanks to Niels Lungso. So had block type here. It even says the document type name, I think, or maybe that's a label of the item that you're adding. So yeah, this is great. It makes it work far more like nested content. I'm happy to see that one.
I think Peter Gregory mentioned about this in his blog post, not blog post, the article on 24 days in last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels really nice for it to have gained traction from there on as well.
Yeah, and there was a big discussion that happened on the issue tracker about this, because the whole reason for that dialogue coming out was for the copy and paste. Up the top right there, you've always got the option to take from the clipboard. Where do you get the clipboard? But now they've actually split the button. So there's a paste button on that right-hand side that you can click if you want to paste. I think it makes much, much more sense.
Yeah.
So hopefully this means the block list is finally a Nessie content killer. I'd love to see, ultimately, I'd love to see Nessie content just go completely at some point, and we can then only use the block list, but time will tell, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's quickly rattle through some releases this week, because for once there wasn't too many. A big one from the eMarketing Suite team, they've added profiles to the eMarketing Suite product, and this is something that Jeffrey actually showed us a few weeks back. This looks really, really cool. Always nice and polished, just like we've come to expect from them. Also this week, ExaminX version 1.2, which supports indexing PDFs and Office documents, plus having multiple staging environments. So if you've got, I don't know, like a dev environment, a test environment, a UAT, a sign-off, a pre-prod environment, it will all support that, I think, under the same license now, which is awesome. And the final one was an update to the Azure Blob Storage provider. There is a beta out for version 3. Why version 3? A bunch of breaking changes. So Chad upgraded to the latest Azure SDK. It fixes a bunch of things with HTTPS and some other stuff as well. And I made a change to the virtual path provider so that it can be used on any blob storage account and not just on the media one. It was just some shuffling of things around, but makes things nicer. And the call to action here, of course, is go test it. I'm probably sure all of us are using the blob storage provider in our sites, if we're using Azure at least. So you're going to be using that, and yeah, go give it a test. I've actually been running that build, or most of that build, in a production site for the past 2 weeks, and it's working fine. So there's that. But yeah, go give it a test. The link will be down below. Alrighty. What else happened this week? Poornima, you mentioned just before we went live that there was, of course, a big event this week. And unfortunately, I was really busy in meetings all day yesterday and didn't get a chance to attend, which I'm really sad about. But Umbrad, the Accessibility Awareness Day, was yesterday, and they had several talks, including from Mike, from Joe, from Matt Wise, Niels Lungso, Claudia, and Danny. Did either of you manage to attend this?
Yeah, I
not,
went in for Anata.
You went?
Yeah, I tuned in for some time in the beginning, and then I had to drop off because my day was getting busy. But I managed to catch up on Mike's talk and then talk to everyone as well who were present at that time. It was quite a good turnout as well for the first Umbrad. I think they had to add more tickets because they were sold out at some point.
Well, that's
so
brilliant.
it was, yeah, it is.
They tweeted the other day that they managed to pull this whole event together in the space of 3 weeks, three and a half weeks, which is really impressive considering they had great accessibility focused talks, great looking website, and as you say, good turnout. I saw as well Rachel tweeted that they used the Zoom's live captioning.
Zoom captions, yeah.
How did that work? Because I've never seen that in action.
So what Mike told me was that it's not as good as the Teams one, but as far as I could see, it was doing the job. So it was all good. It was good to see that actually,
I'd like to see it rolled out. I'd like to see that rolled out to more meetups and things. And yeah, I've heard that it's not as good as the Teams one, but it's definitely something that's important for broadcasts and things. I don't know if Code Garden will have that or not. That's obviously coming up. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Poornima, you did a meetup this week.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Did. So this is the Thames Valley .NET group. So I'm a part.
Group, I guess.
Yeah. The one at Reading. So I think there have been there's always been a good turnout at this event, every meetup that I've attended in the past, and there have been some really good speakers as well. So I was happy when I got an opportunity there. So I spoke about GraphQL in ASP.NET Core. So setting up a GraphQL service and then consuming that in a Blazor app. So it's something that I found quite interesting when I started researching around Umbraco Hardcore and the GraphQL API. I was like, okay, I need to learn more about this. I've only covered the kind of, even the kind of the brush of the tip of the iceberg, but still, it's something. There has to be a beginning for everything. So.
Well, that's awesome to see. So I guess the talk wasn't recorded or anything.
It's not recorded, but I did the same talk at .NET. It is recorded, actually. They have done a Zoom recording. However, I did the same talk at .NET North as well a few weeks ago. That's on YouTube.
And am I right that in the coming weeks, June 17th, you're doing the same talk?
No. So that is going to be a different take on Umbraco Hardcore and Blazor with a more focus on Blazor. I'm still going to be using Umbraco Hardcore as my GraphQL API. So I'm going to present how you can connect to it and present a single page app using Blazor in a couple of ways.
Okay, nice. That's for the Blazor Days sessions.
Yeah, that's a Blazor Day session, yeah.
June 17th, and I think Carol's doing the talk as well.
Yeah, June 17th, yes. Very,
very nice. So, all right, let's have a look. So there were some other events this week. I don't know, maybe Ryan, have you gone along to any of the Umbraco V9 Learnathons?
No, I'm pretty inactive on kind of like the meetups and stuff at the minute, just absolutely busy. So
yeah,
which is quite unfortunate, but I tried to tune in to kind of like podcasts and stuff as much as possible.
Have you had a chance to play with the V9 yet?
Yes, I've got a little kind of like demo site up at the minute. Kind of just, I mean, I've done a little bit with .NET Core, so it's just kind of getting used to everything again. Really,
I think the biggest output of these Learnathons has been people, well, firstly, getting hands-on experience with .NET Core maybe for the first time, but also documentation, stuff that's a bit different, quirks that people find, and then it creates some creates output in the form of documentation. There's one more. It's next week on Wednesday evening for a couple hours, and I don't think there's really a focus. Poornima, you've been along to a couple of them?
No, not to the Learnathons, because evenings I'm really busy, even personally. So that's the only excuse. But I am guilty as charged. I have missed out on this. But hopefully soon to be back and see what's happening.
Very nice.
It's exciting. There's so much traction around V9, and the community is really buzzing with the V9 beta that's come out. Even if I look in the community Slack channel, there's a lot of discussions going around V9, which is fantastic.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of excitement. Definitely a lot of excitement. Cool. And speaking of excitement, Code Garden is only 3 weeks away. It's actually less than 3 weeks away. It would have been 3 weeks Wednesday. 3 weeks right now will be Code Garden, and I'll have done my talk already, which is a really scary thought. Code Garden agenda is all up there. Go have a look with the Wednesday program, Thursday with a few talks and some kind of key talks, and Friday jam-packed full of community sessions.
Yeah.
I guess both of you, are you gonna try and make it along, or at least tune into some of them?
At least one.
At least one. And it should be my talk. No, I'm kidding. There's really awesome looking sessions. Really awesome looking sessions. So I look forward to this. And as well, the pre-party, at least it's in the evening. You might as well tune in and just get a sense of the community. Yeah,
I'm speaking on Friday as well. So
what time will it be?
I think it's in the afternoon.
There's so many sessions I can't find.
Yeah, I think it's in the afternoon.
I've got it. You're at 4:15
afternoon,
4:15 UK time on the Friday.
Yeah, I can't wait for the event, because when DukeFest happened last year, that day was such a breeze. It was so nice. So I'm hoping to have 2 days like that during the Code Garden.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a busy few days. I sent a message to the team the other day just saying, look, like it's going to be a strange few days with people starting and finishing their day at later times or earlier times. That's all good. Do whatever you feel comfortable with. Watch as many of the sessions as you feel like you want to. And yeah, let's try and make the most of it being a purely virtual event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right. So Ryan, you actually mentioned podcasts. You listen to a few podcasts. Anything in particular?
Not really. I kind of just see them kind of get posted on Twitter, and just eventually try and tune into as many as possible. I can't actually remember the last one that I listened to, but it actually wasn't that long ago.
Well, if you're looking for another one to listen to, of course, Matt and Kevin have their fantastic Package Manifest podcast. Highly recommend this. I've not yet listened to this episode, but going by the description and from what Matt's mentioned, it's all about idea generation and how do you prototype ideas. And I know that Kevin has a really, really interesting system where, again, I've not listened to the podcast, so I'll see if I can get this right. But I think if he has an idea, he spends 2 minutes writing it down, and then he spends 2 hours fleshing the idea out, and then he spends 2 days prototyping, and then I think it kind of evolves from there. And so it's a really nice way of developing a project. And I think USync and Translation Manager are all outputs of that process, that way of working. I've never come across that as a way of doing things before, but it seems like something I could do and get behind. And it means you focus for a period of time. Focus is something I struggle incredibly with. So many things going on at once. So yeah, that's a really interesting one. Go listen to Package Manifest if you haven't already. Also, I don't know why this is in the wrong section.
If Kevin says that it works for him, I'm going to take that as a gospel, because we know what USync and USync Complete and Translation Manager is like.
Yeah, man's a genius. He's even on podcasts whilst he's on holiday. I mean, I think they pre-recorded it, but yeah, I don't know how he manages his time so well and gets things out so quickly. It's truly impressive. Poornima, you've been not busy again on another podcast. This time, is it with Christian Buckley, his MVP Buzz Chat podcast?
Yeah.
How's all of that?
So Christian reached out to me on LinkedIn because he's been watching the MVP Buzz hashtag, and he found me and he was like, let's have a chat. It's more like a friendly natter, get to know you as a person. So I was like, yeah, during this time, every opportunity to see a new face is so worth it. And 2 weeks ago, we recorded this on a Friday afternoon. We spoke about all kind of random things regarding children, what they do, to work, so many aspects of things. It was a really nice chat. I really enjoyed just talking without no preparation. So it was a lovely experience for me.
Nice. And it's also great, as I've said this a few times, it's great to see the Umbraco community and the Microsoft communities converging a bit here as well. Because, of course, you're a Microsoft MVP. Your involvement in the Microsoft community is very visible in your Blazor activities and all of that stuff. But as well, you work with Umbraco day to day. And so I guess this wasn't tweeted with the Umbraco hashtag or anything. People may not have seen it, but the link will be down below. Go give it a listen. I'm still yet to, but it's on my list of things to do. And the final one of things you need to go listen to: stop, collaborate, and listen. Go listen to Candid Contributions. Their latest podcast episode is up, and I'm kind of annoyed because Emma Burstow's mentioned before. I've got a big Trello board of crazy talk titles and names and ideas, and this was one of them. So now I can't do this talk. But yeah, I'll go give it a listen. This is about let's take a step back and think how we can collaborate better and work better towards collective open source success. Very, very nice. I forgot to mention there, the Edinburgh Meetup is also next week. So on Tuesday, there is an Edinburgh virtual meetup. No announcement just yet about the talks that will be happening, but yeah, it's on Tuesday. Go sign up for that. All right, some quick fire final things. Poornima, you've been not busy again. This is really lovely. So you're featured on the Own Your Story. Is it called Get On or something? The Microsoft company?
Get On 2021. Yeah.
So you were featured on a whole movie actually about you. I'll mute it so we can just skip through, but it's a truly incredible showcase of your story and your journey with getting into dev and how you've learned and you become a Microsoft MVP. So that's really awesome to see. Oh, and I feature in it 3 times. I think we discussed that I feature in it. I'm the second most featured person behind your daughter in that video. It's quite remarkable. But yeah, we'll post the link down below. Go watch Poornima's story because it's really, really lovely to see.
It's a great campaign as well. Like I am a great ambassador of learning and keeping learning. And so when they reached out to me saying that this is actually going to be an interview, which kind of suddenly blew up to like a movie kind of thing, because it wanted to have that impact. So they were here in the house mid-March, doing a day of shoot with me, like 10 hours of shooting just for 90 seconds. I must say I have a newfound respect for movie makers now.
Yeah, well, you're now a movie star. You know how hard it all is. That's
oh yeah, incredibly.
That's incredible. We had to film a kind of a showcase video from Umbraco Cloud a few years back, and again, it was a full day of like talking at a camera, and it was quite involved. So very interesting. But yeah, go watch Poornima's story. Link will be down below. Really, really awesome to see you featured there. And it's funny because it was very official, a proper production company and everything. So they reached out to us to say, can we use some clips from umbraCoffee? And I had to sign a bunch of paperwork away to say, yeah, that's absolutely fine. I think technically Microsoft owned the rights to a 1-second clip of umbraCoffee in perpetuity, and I had to sign it off. And I also put on they asked for my a job title or something in relation to umbraCoffee on the form when we signed the release, and I had to sign it as the executive producer of umbraCoffee, because I found quite amusing. So you're a movie star, I'm the exec producer. All good.
Fantastic. Let's keep it that way.
I was doing paperwork. Cool. And then the final video I wanted to feature this week was a really nice one from Carl Saguna. So I think Andrew Hawkin asked on Twitter, how do you set up your Umbraco solutions nowadays? For people that have only been working on, say, one project or a few existing projects for many, many years, you've probably not done this in a while. It's definitely not something that people do every single day. And so Carl showed how he walks through setting up his Umbraco solution, all the way from the Git repo to the Visual Studio solution, some structure, installing and configuring the models builder modes, all that stuff. It's all covered in here. Really, really good video, fantastic resource. We'll put it down below. Carl, make more videos because I really enjoyed this one.
Hi, Fire, Carl. It's so great to see you active in the community.
It is. And talking of active in the community, Marcin's off today. He's spending some time with his family. But because he's off, I get to make the rules. And so I'm giving myself the pull request of the week honor this week. This is not a joke. I'm genuinely doing it. No, in seriousness, I made a pull request this week to rename models builder modes in V9. And I appreciate this is slightly controversial, this one. But models builder's always bugged me because you have this pure live mode, which no one knows really what it does, or it's the name doesn't say anything. And then the app data mode in V9, in V8, app data mode drops your models into the app data folder. In V9, there is no app data folder.
There's no app data,
So where they go into the Umbraco folder somewhere. And so I said, well, we just need to rename those modes. So I've done that. I've done exactly that. And this is a pull request to do that. It's kind of sparked a bit of a discussion about what these models builder modes should be. And there's a whole chat around terminology and how we should be doing this to make it clear and obvious exactly how these things function. This was the entire point of my of the pull request, really.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. The most important thing is to get it renamed, and you made a start on that, so that's all good, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I've taken the plunge into the cold water, said, we need to do this. Let's decide what we're going to do with it. So link will be below. Go give your feedback. But I'd love to see that change get into V9 eventually. Something else I was going to flag that I got a tip off from Sebastian at HQ about was a slight improvement to the way you can contribute to Umbraco. So now the Umbra bot, which you may not know, is a bot that is active on the GitHub repo, and it will chip in and give you some tips for making sure your PR is in a good state for it to be reviewed and then hopefully merged. So it gives you a nice checklist where you can say, yeah, I've done that. I can make sure all of these things are passing and whatever. Document stuff properly, all good. The other thing that was introduced this week is, and I really love this, bug report templates or issue templates with fields. So they kind of actively encourage you to fill in fields with required information and stuff on each of these. And it's just going to mean generally far better quality issues being raised that are more easy to digest. I'm sure, Ryan, as you get more involved in a community team, you're going to be dealing more with, well, at least feedback being raised, I guess, on GitHub. There's a Umbraco UI project up there now, which you'll be heavily involved in. Poornima, you're on the community collaborators team. You're an honorary member, aren't you still?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So yeah, you're all familiar with this, of people creating really badly worded issues that don't get the issue across. So yeah, issue templates are there, and they're something that you can use on your own projects too now on GitHub. So maybe go check that out. Alrighty, some final quick things, and then we'll wrap up. We mentioned the accessibility team, and Rachel, someone else who's very, very busy in the community, has written a blog post for Microsoft's TechNet blog, all about the Umbraco accessibility initiative that's been going on, everything that they've achieved. And I saw as well on Twitter this week some discussion. Someone asked CMSs that are great examples of truly accessible platforms. And I think Nathan maybe mentioned that over 200 issues around accessibility have been resolved directly in the past few years, year or maybe a little bit more, which is really awesome to see. And I guess, again, a focus of the UI team going forward will be considering accessibility a bit more.
You know what is special about the accessibility initiative in Umbraco? Because it all started as a forum post, I think, from Mike, and it then grew up to a phone call, a conference call, to a team, and now we have a full event based on accessibility. So it's fantastic to see that growth.
Yeah, it's not that it ever really was or should have been a niche, but it's not being seen as that. It's being widely embraced by the community, which is awesome. And
as Rachel rightly points in that blog post, the accessibility course, which the HQ provides, I think it's one of its first ones for any CMS platform.
Yeah.
So Umbraco is the trailblazer.
Indeed. Speaking of trailblazers, this is a really good blog post by Corner, and he's done a few great ones recently. So high five, you're up to Corner. This is about setting up Hangfire with Umbraco 9. I've got views on Hangfire and whether it has a place in the world, but this is a really, really good tutorial on how to get that all set up and running. I think we'll be able to go check that one out. And finally, we say hello to a few people. So Rowena, she is a digital consultant at October 24, and she is featured on the Community Corner. You can get to know a bit about her music tastes, her involvement with Umbraco. And finally, another new hire at Umbraco HQ, Jesper, the new partner manager. Go find out all about him as well. And that was it for the news. We did it in 33 minutes, which is a record, I think. Sorry. But normally sometimes these go on for over an hour, and it's Anyway, thank you. What are your plans? What are you working on at the moment? Any packages, community projects, or just snowed under with real work?
A bit of everything again. Snowed under with real work, but then my freelance work has also picked up a bit. So I'm building quite a nice kind of vendor e-commerce website for a friend. So that should hopefully be released in the next couple of weeks, maybe, which will be quite good. Very, very cool. And Poornima, what are you up to? If you needed anything else to do.
Work, definitely. And then this week I'm going to venture out for a movie.
Ooh,
Nice.
yeah.
Yes.
Very, very
I
boring.
need to get out of the house for something other than a walk.
Indeed, yeah, I do as well. The weather's been so terrible, but
Yeah.
yeah, wouldn't be an all British umbraCoffee episode if we didn't mention the weather. Brilliant. Just a shout out to Owen. Thank you so much for supporting us on Buy Me a Coffee. We really appreciate it. It helps support the channel. And I guess with that, we just say thank you for watching. Thank you both for joining me. Have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you all next Friday. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.